the Internet Society. My role is running the research projects at the Internet Society, and I have been involved in uh, developing the internet resilience focus area at the Internet Society, which my Kevin colleague has presented. And today I will talk about another issue that we are tracking. It is about internet shutdown. And the idea is actually to give you a round of information on how we are tracking the shutdown and the internet society, and what is the impact of internet shutdowns on society. Thank you. So, David, if I will now share my screen, if that works.
I think you should be able to do that. Can you try?
Yes.
Sharing, and then you can present. Okay, it's working.
It's working. Okay, perfect. Thank you, David. All right. So starting with my with the presentation. So um, the idea, as I just mentioned, is to give you some high-level information on how the Internet Society is tracking the internet shutdown, but it will also provide you some information, especially whether it is digital rights activists or journalists. How do you actually report on these shutdowns, and especially reporting on the impact of those shutdowns, because shutdowns, as you know, can have a negative impact on the economy, but also on the lives of citizens, because the internet has become a lifeline, and people rely a lot on the internet on a day-to-day basis. So today we will discuss the different types of internet shutdowns, the impact of internet shutdowns on local economies, also what is the impact on human rights and democracy, the different types of shutdowns, whether they are local and regional, and how it is also impacting the internet resilience, as Kevin, my colleague, has presented. And also maybe it will provide some opportunities, like on how journalists can and make use of the information that we are providing, and also on the tools that we are providing to perhaps convince our policymakers on the potential impact, and whenever a government or an organization is turning down the internet, that they should be aware of the potential impact. So first of all, why should we report on internet shutdown? As, let's say, if you are a digital rights organization or a member of the press, it is your duty to actually tell the population and the citizens of the country that a shutdown is happening. Sometimes it is difficult, because if there is a countrywide shutdown, it is difficult to actually even communicate. In some countries, shutdown are regional or highly specific. So, for example, only targeting mobile connectivity, or shutting down only social media. So there are different types of shutdown. So there's different types of shutdown, or internet blackout should be communicated, should be made transparent also to the population that this is happening. So we have also seen cases, for example, because there were reports of internet shutdown, some consumer protection society, for example, in Sudan, was able to file a complaint, and the court ordered the end of of the internet shutdown. So this is quite of a success story where, uh, because of the fact that information was available on shutdown, and reporters were able to provide this information, there were actions that could be taken to revert the bad impact of internet shutdown. So when reporting on internet shutdown, there are different things that people can talk about. There is obviously the technical aspect, because the internet being a technical network, there need to be technical interventions, whether from the internet service providers or from the regulator to shut down the internet. So there is that technical aspect that should be reported about, and we we actually recommend that whenever there is cases of shutdown, that the government or the regulator be transparent about the different means that they have used. Um, so the definition that we use at the Society of an internet shutdown is an intentional disruption of the internet. So obviously there are different types of internet shutdown. There is a case where there might be a cable cut. In the case of a cable cut, where we have seen that happening in different countries around Africa. So in West Africa, we had a cable cut. In East Africa as well. Uh, these are non-intentional, but there are cases, for example, during exams period or during protests, where you have intentional disruptions. And at at the Internet Society, on the Pulse platform, we track those intentional internet shutdowns. So in Africa, for example, between 2018 and 2023, there have been more than 27 countries where there has been at least one instance of internet shutdown. So we have seen more than 70 shutdown events happening, and the longest one which happened was in is in Tigray in Ethiopia, where more than 1,000 days of internet shutdown. As I was saying, the shutdown sometimes are regional, so you do not have a nationwide effect. But people living in those specific region where shutdowns are happening are actually quite impacted. This is the example. This is some data from Asia. So 19 countries were impacted, and with more than 470 events. The longest shutdown was happening in Myanmar, or is still happening actually, where the junta is controlling the internet, and, for example, does not allow access to various social media platforms. So citizens in the country do not have complete freedom with the use of the internet. And recently, as you know, in Myanmar, there has been an earthquake, and whenever you have an earthquake, you also need a quick relief telecommunication services, because you need the emergency services to be able to function seamlessly. And in cases like that, where you have a shutdown operating at the same time, it doesn't help the population to recover in a very fast and efficient manner when a shutdown is imposed at the same time. Uh, we we have cases of shutdown in Europe as well. Here in we have 6 cases in Belarus, in Russia 4 cases, and in the United Kingdom we had 1 case that was recorded. And in the America, Venezuela, for example, is the one with the highest number of internet shutdown. So internet shutdown is covered in media, and that's good. we have many media, whether it is local media or international media, producing this information. And we at the Internet Society, we want to stand as a bridge between the local population and those producing what we call internet data. So using data coming from, whether it is from Google or from Cloudflare, and other internet measurement initiatives like IODA, we want to build that bridge between the citizens and those producing the data. So, needless to say that the number of internet shutdowns in Africa is growing, unfortunately, and uh, it is um, it is alarming in some cases, where we would like to see more resilience. So, internet shutdown, they have an impact of on internet resilience on the long term, because for a country to have absolute control of the internet, you need to build it in such a way that it becomes fragile, it becomes concentrated, and we know any network or any ecosystem which is highly concentrated, it becomes very brittle and very fragile to outages. Moving on, let me give you a little bit of information on the different types of shutdown. So, starting with throttling. Throttling means that it is possible to slow down the internet speed in such a way that it is actually difficult for users to have access to to their social media platforms or messaging platforms. There is DNS blocking. So as you know, the internet relies a lot on DNS. DNS is the conversion of names, so domain names such as google.com into an IP address. So if that service of transferring domain names into IP addresses is blocked, then definitely it prevents people from accessing websites. There is also the possibility of blocking directly the IP address, so the destination, making the destination um, unreachable is a way to block access. Then there is also the possibility of only blocking a specific type of communication medium, in that case, social media. So we have seen different cases of where social media is only blocked because it whatever information on there represent a risk to the society or to the government, and then so that platform is blocked. We have seen cases where only mobile data connectivity is blocked, and that is a little bit problematic because, as we know, in Africa, a lot of countries in Africa rely heavily on mobile connectivity, and quite sometimes exclusively on mobile connectivity, because we do not have fixed broadband as it is deployed, let's say, in other on in other regions of the world. So mobile connectivity is really important. Um, so as I mentioned, the causes of internet shutdown might be varied. So, for example, here in Algeria, we had a case of internet shutdown because of exams. So the internet was blocked, content blocking. So in that case, social media blocking. Mobile networks were disrupted, and also fiber, like fixed line connectivity. And the reason was to prevent cheating in national general examination. And we have such cases in other countries as well, such as Iraq and India as well. Election related shutdown. This is an example of Uganda, where in January 2021, there was a total shutdown as well. So the authorities ordered a total internet shutdown in Uganda. And so probably the reason was to prevent protests to happen, but at the same time, it is also blocking people from relevant information about elections, and that it cutting down the internet has is always a double-edged sword. This is also election-related shutdowns in Pakistan, where we could see, for example, on Cloudflare, a total reduction of traffic. So there was no traffic at all. So that's bad for the economy because, as you know, a lot of our economy is based on online transactions now, and therefore, uh, in a buzzing economy like Pakistan, shutting down the internet can have an impact which is non-negligible. This is another case in Gabon, and the Internet Society estimated that for this shutdown that happened in over 3 days, there was around more than 500,000 US dollars. It costed the economy more than 500 US dollars. I will come back to how we calculate the economic impact.
Amrish, you have to um, ask participants to go to the platform and look of some of these things by themselves because we only have one, and I would like to spend a few minutes for questions and answers, please.
Sure. David, so can you tell me how much time do you have left?
I think if you can finish in 2-3 minutes maximum.
Okay, perfect. So in that case, what I will do, I will showcase our participant the Pulse platform so that they can use it for. Is it showing the Pulse platform on the screen, David?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is the Internet Society Pulse platform, which provides, which is our data portal. And as I was saying, we track different things, including internet shutdowns, net loss. Net loss is our tool to calculate the economic impact. The IXP tracker is, it's to track the level of peering and interconnection in different countries of the world. We have a section dedicated to the adoption of key technologies, a section dedicated to internet resilience, as showed by my colleague Kevin, a section dedicated to concentration, and a section dedicated to country reports, where you can, for example, find a lot of relevant information about the health of the internet in your own country. So going back to the cases of internet shutdown, so as I was showing, um, we track the number of internet shutdowns on a daily basis. So we have a team here at the Internet Society that documents any cases of shutdown and also provides some information about the duration, the causes, and also the different techniques that was used to operate the shutdown. So let's take an example. So we can, for example, take Ethiopia. So Ethiopia says, for example, there was a shutdown that started on the 3rd of August 2023 and ended in July, 14th of July 2024. So that's 348 days. And there was a mix of mobile and fixed, and it was a regional shutdown, and it mostly happened in the Amara region. So if you open it, you have a little bit more information about what was the local impact, uh, what did we see on social media, how people reported about it, and also the media coverage. And there might also be, not in that case, but we can also provide you, for example, the economic impact. So we would take another example, but you can try it yourself later. So, for example, let's say for Afghanistan, we want to understand what could be the impact for 5 days of internet shutdown. So that would be a complete internet shutdown, so no internet access at all. So for 5 days, that would mean that more than 2 million or almost 3 million US dollars in terms of GDP loss. So I think this tool can be used by policymakers if they want to inform their policymakers and also the decision makers rather, that operating an internet shutdown has a cost, and they need to be aware of that when doing it. So in the interest of time, David, I think that's all that I wanted to present. If there are questions from the room, I would be happy to answer them and show them other things as well if interested.
Thank you very much, Amrish. There is a mine of information that you can talk about, but unfortunately, due to various challenges, we don't have the initial time that was allocated to us. So what I would advise participants is go to pulse.internetsociety.org. It's quite easy to use platform. You can go there and see many things that Amrish and Kevin have talked about. So I would prefer to use the remaining few minutes, and maybe if you allow us a little bit more than 8 minutes remaining, so that we can answer to the questions you might have. Any questions, comments? Maybe let me go.
Thank you. My name is Nuhu Chidu from the Tanzania Telecommunications Corporation. Thank you, Kevin and Amrish, for the insights from the Internet Society. I wanted to ask that I have seen we've had a lot of internet shutdowns from different parts of Africa and some other countries in the globe. And what are the initiatives maybe done by the Internet Security, Internet Society to ensure that these shutdowns are going down because they are increasing as the days go? So what are the initiatives and what are you doing? There are some laws maybe governing these countries to make sure that we don't have these internet shutdowns. Thank you.
Would like to say something about it?
Yeah, maybe quickly I can answer that. So yeah, it's not an easy it's not an easy answer, I would say, because there is no single way to do that. So obviously at the Internet Society we do a lot of awareness campaigns and advocacy. So we try to reach out to the different stakeholder groups and tell them about the impact of internet shutdown. So obviously we understand also that in some cases internet shutdowns are done for the purpose of national security, and therefore usually some governments, they have their hands tied and they have to do that. But we want as much as possible for information to be shared with the different with people that are impacted, and also that while doing that they understand that there is an economic impact, and there are different ways perhaps to handle different types of situation, and internet shutdown should always be the tool of the last resort, and if at all possible not to operate an internet shutdown.
Thank you, Amrish. Any other question? Yeah, okay. There's
Okay, thank you.
Please introduce yourself first.
Okay, my name is Joseph Kata from Daraja Consulting Company. Like for our leaders in Africa, uh, also last year the internet shut down. What happened? So we need to create the environment where data centers can come in Africa. So I want to know, do we have that for our leaders in Africa? Do we have that will to create an environment where we can have centers in Africa? Thank you.
Thank you. I guess you are talking about not the internet shutdown, but rather the internet outages. You think the internet outages in West Africa. Okay. Can you to answer to that?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think there is some data available on the number of data centers in Africa. It is increasing. Via the Pulse dashboard, it's also something we're hoping to track in terms of their important infrastructure to provide hosting for local content and also exchange points and so on. So it is improving. That would be also something that could be addressed in the Inter-Resilience Framework document that I mentioned in the presentation. So there is investment in Africa. We've seen a lot of new data centers, and that should really be encouraged because that means more reliable infrastructure to host local content, host local exchange points, and host data in a local space so that the dependence on international connectivity to access services or to access websites reduces. So it should really be encouraged. I hope that answers the question.
But he says that tool has recently supported our advocacy efforts in Togo. We used it to produce a technical report analyzing a major disruption in an online public service caused by a power outage in Portugal, where most of the Togolese government data is hosted. So it's a rather long comment. Thank you, Emmanuel. But this is exactly what we want this tool to be about. So it is, we provide information that you can use at local level to advocate for something. So it can be against shutdown. It can be, to do something that can help internet resilience. It can be, to promote data centers, to promote, new connections so that you can have redundancy, etc. So this is what, and I think it answered also to the first question about shutdown. We don't necessarily advocate at local level. The chapters do, but not the Internet Society. But we provide tools, for example, the impact on the economy, and also some data. In some cases, it might not even be clear what had happened, and we provide information on what had happened. And it is up to the local parties and some others who work in these kind of things to lobby so that really governments are discouraged from having, from mandating internet shutdown. Any comment, question? We can accept one more.
Well, I raised my hand. I'm getting tired.
So sorry, Emmanuel. So I was not looking online. So please go on.
Yes, thank you very much. Sometimes we can raise hand online and still get tired, but it's fine. So just to add, I think the entire tool, generally, I think I have not been so satisfied than recently when we are able to use it, as I was putting in the comments over there. Because most of the shutdown in West Africa that we have observed last year and this year, majority of them are not intentional, as we used to have in previous years for election, exams, etc. This time around, they come from either natural causes, like the ones we have in March 2024 in major African countries, and more recently, power outages in Spain and Portugal. So in these cases, usually government issue a statement to say, it's not our fault, it's our service provider. But when we start sharing this evidence with them, they understand that, let's say, for example, majority of the websites, where they have like the government services, even websites within the country, almost 80% of them are actually hosted outside. So when those, how do you call it, internet disruption happen, there's no excuse, because our advocacy now is that, look, it's not your fault, but you have to protect those infrastructure. You have to actually encourage people hosting, their data locally. You have to actually allow other providers like satellite internet and others. So I think it has really, really helped in that regard, where we tell government, whether intentional or unintentional, it helped them see the impact both economically and also have the data, because people were shocked when they noticed that, let's say, more than 85% of the website and content are not hosted in the country. So it also helps us, advocate for how do we take advantage of our national CCTLD and other, infrastructure and digital public infrastructure. So yes, I just want to add to it that let's not just be looking at the intentional shutdowns, but even those that come, beyond the government control. We have to use this tool to show them that, well, the problem can be solved if we do this and this and that. So I just want to add that point to the conversation. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Emmanuel. This is a very important testimony, and this is exactly what we want to achieve by developing this kind of platform. Okay, I cannot say no to two ladies who are raising their hands. Okay, we'll start with Mary, and then we'll go back.
Do I have to stand? My name is okay. My name is Mary. I just wanted to ask whether those shared with the stakeholders, especially the government, just for the purposes of education or training packages. Kevin?
Yes, maybe I can answer to that because I made presentations myself at the African Union, and I'm sure Kevin and Amrish have also made some presentations to government as well, and they received it very well. Sometimes they were challenging. They were saying, "Oh, more than 4 data centers in our country." I remember Senegal said that. And yes, it might not be perfect. We might not have the latest data. And very often it's because governments or the stakeholders don't provide the data to the database, for example, that collects information. For example, for IXPs, you have databases that are developed for IXPs. The same thing for data centers, etc. So we do try that, and they find it very useful. So I hope that they are using it, and that's the whole purpose as well. It's not necessarily to shame governments, it's to give them information about the situation in their country, how it rates compared to other countries, so that they can make informed decisions. Okay. Can you give to the lady at the back?
Good evening. My name is Mary from Kenya. And I'm more curious on the data side. And it also relates to what Emmanuel has commented. I want to know, how are you able to distinguish deliberate internet shutdown and internet disruption, maybe from a natural disaster, from your data models? How are you able to verify the two? Thank you.
Very good question. I think I'll let Kevin or Amrish answer to the question.
Sure, David. Thank you for the question. So the way we distinguish disruptions, natural disruptions from intentional shutdown is that we look at the communique that governments and government agencies are also putting out. So in most cases, the intentional shutdowns are technically legal and legal shutdowns. So they are actually mandated by the government. ISPs are mandated by the government to shut down the internet, and therefore there is always a communique that is put out, and usually this communique is published, and reporters have access to it. And in most cases, whether it is a exam-related shutdown or election-related shutdown, there is a public communique. However, we have seen cases where some governments have tried to masquerade intentional shutdown and show it as if it was a disruption because of a cable cut. There has been research that was done and that looked at, for example, the patterns when there are intentional shutdowns. Usually, intentional shutdowns, the shutdowns start at specific time and last for a specific duration. Usually, the duration of, for example, of an election period and things like that. So there are patterns that can be extracted, and researchers have seen that. Wherever some governments they have said that, the internet is shut down because of a cable cut, when they try to corroborate the data, it's not really appearing. So yes, there are cases, for example, where government might say, the shutdown happened because of a cable cut, but it has not been the case. And so it is our duty, for example, at the Internet Society, if we are able to get hold of data like this to present it so that the real and good information is out there.
Just to add to David, just to add briefly to what Amisha has added, we also rely a lot on our chapters, our Internet Society chapters, in the event where there is an internet outage or disruption, and we have a chapter there. They really help us to understand the situation in terms of, was it a deliberate shutdown or was it something else? So that network we have through our chapters also is quite important to help verify the situation.
Thank you, Kevin. I think we have to stop here. Thank you so much for staying so late. Our session was supposed to start at 3, but at 2 it started at 4 and something. So it required a lot of patience, including from the panelists. So thank you everyone for staying, and I hope that it was instructional. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Amrish. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Don't know whether there's tea break. Any tea break?
Check.
Thank you.
Those of you here, you can come forward. Let's just have a short conversation. To the session after if you're interested in our session, please come.
Yeah? We have. Where is
Ahmed and Fatu. Okay. Okay. Fatu, you are rapporteur? All right. This session is on sorry. Let me just the one for 5 p.m.
not 6.
Not 6. It's the one for 5 p.m. Sorry, let me just show it. Yes. Is no. Is oh God. How to make a resilient internet trusted by all. How to make a resilient internet trusted by all. Okay. Okay. Okay, so right. Is it 5:30 we are starting or 5 o'clock? Is there tea break? No. On the website it said 5 o'clock. On website is 1700, which is 5 o'clock. It's terrible.
Hi, Mary and Muhammad. Do you hear me?
Hello? PJ, are you online?
Yes, I am online. Do you hear me?
Okay, so we can hear you. Oh my God.
Okay, so how we can do to project my presentation? I sent
A
it.
tea break. People have gone. People are tired. There's tea break, right? Probably people, there's tea break, maybe. Come in. If you are coming, they are coming.
Do you hear me there? Mary and Muhammad, do you hear me?
There's tea break. Whether people will come in.
I think John will wait for more 5 minutes until people come to the room and we will start then.
Okay. Do you hear me first, Ahmed?
Yes, we hear you well. Thank you.
Ahmed, how shall we put my presentation on the screen?
I think you will share your screen from your side. In case you couldn't do this, I will ask our technician support team to help us in this issue. Yeah, and you can try if you want to make a trial now. Please do it.
But I have to be given the authorization to share my screen.
Let me check with the technician team. Are you handling the online participation? Mr. Tijan is trying to share his Yeah, Mr. Tijani. So you want to have the access? Yes, Tijani bin Juma. Pato, are you online? Pato, are you online? So Tijani, you have access now to share your screen?
So how to do? I didn't find. I tried, but I didn't find how to do. Tell me. There is no icon. I tried the icons, but I couldn't find the right one.
Tijani. You check with him? Uh, uh, okay. Anyway, I send it by email. So in case we fail in this process.
The better is that I share my screen because there is animation, so I have to click myself to advance the pages.
You can do it yourself, share the screen. But you can share it directly?
Okay, if not possible, Ahmed, please give them the PDF format. It will be easier because otherwise it will be difficult to click every time we want to advance one line, etc. So give them the PDF format.
I will send him the PDF. Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you.
What? Now you're.
So as I see, I don't have because it is only the host who has the author
Receiving?
the authorization to share their screen.
So we'll share the presentation from our side, Jenny, and we'll start once it's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good.
I'm just waiting for the sharing screen, the presentation of Tijani. I would like to thank you all, our online participants and our on-site participants, for being with us. It's a very challenge what happened today, the delay in the opening ceremony, and it took a lot of time. So we are out of our schedule around more than 2 hours. I can understand the challenge that participant faces today. I would like to thank our speakers for being with us, especially Tijani, for being with us for more than 2 hours waiting the session to start. Today we will talk about one of the most important things I believe related to the internet safety and uses. We are talking here about how we can trust the internet while we are using it. As you know, strong and open internet is essential for innovation and making sure everyone can benefit from the digital world. However, technology like AI and IoT become more common. People are really worried about how their personal data will be used, and they have all the right to be worried about this. To keep trust in the internet, we need strong protection against the misuse of this data. At the same time, we also need the free of internet of flow of the data through the internet, because many services depend on it, function and create value. We don't miss this as well. So let me start with Tijani. Please, Mr. Tijani, introduce yourself, and Mr. Tijani will talk with us about the how to bring trust to the relevant internet. Mr. Tijani, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, and thank you for attending this session. My name is Tijani Benjama. I am from Tunisia, the executive director of the Internet of the Federation of Internet Associations for the Mediterranean region. I have a lot of hats, but I would say only that I used to be member of the MAG of the African IGF, and I used to be also the chair of the North African IGF. I am on the advisory council of IIR. Do you hear me? I am on the. Is it okay?
Yes, we are just trying to make the voice much higher in the room. Please continue.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will stop here. It's not important to present myself. Let's start. Today I wanted to tell you how to bring trust to the resilient internet. But before that, let's speak about the resilience of internet. Internet was born natively resilient, thanks to its decentralized architecture designed to maintain functionality despite interruption. This ensures operational and communication continuity even when parts of the network fail. The risk of single point failure has grown as modern systems rely increasingly on centralized services, cloud infrastructure, and interconnected supply chains. Next screen, please. So how to sustain the resilience of internet? It can be done by the redundancy, ensuring that critical systems have backup mechanisms to maintain operations. Also by modularity, designing components that can operate independently and be replaced without systemic failure. By adaptability, implementing dynamic responses to emergent threats and to evolving technology. And also by collaboration, building trust and sharing information between public and private sector to mitigate risks collectively. Next screen, thank you. So, what is trustworthy internet? It is a resilient internet, as we just explained, means that it is available without interruption, and that it is reliable means that the information circulated on the internet are not affected. It is an accountable internet, means that the internet users can be identified and held responsible when needed. And it should be also ensuring the user's privacy, means that the user's data aren't collected and used illegitimately. Next screen. So why internet is not trusted by all? As information is passing through many routers and servers, and data are residing on some servers, anyone who can gain access can fetch this information. But of course, there are safety measures, such as the SSL, the security layer of the HTTP to become HTTPS, and there is the encryption that you can use. But there is no absolute safety, since any encryption model can unfortunately be decrypted. Next screen. Information that you get from internet are coming from a specific computer that you don't know who owns or who operates it. You don't know who put the information in it either. Information travels through several routers along the way. Each router can modify the data passing through it. You don't know who owns and who operates these routers. Next. During transmission, data on the internet can be lost, they can be corrupted, they can be manipulated, and they can lose their integrity and their confidentiality. Next, please. And even worse, with the new technology, for example, the Internet of Things, Internet of Things work thanks to two main components, the sensors and the actuators. And the sensors and the Internet of Things are collecting very sensitive, very intimate data. So sensors will create more personal, intimate data. And each sensor is a spy in your pocket, in your car, in your refrigerator, etc. So you see that now we have more sensitive data, more personal data, more intimate data circulated on the internet. So the use of this data will be more harmful for the user. And with this kind of data, the artificial intelligence can make you behave as you would never behave, and can make you say what you have never said. You see how important, how serious is this issue. The harm will be great if we don't have tools and behavior to try to protect ourselves. Next. So how to make internet trustworthy? There is a technical side that I will address now, and my colleagues will address the legal side and the ethical side. Next. Technically, how to make internet trustworthy? Use, as I said before, the secure socket layer, the SSL layer on the HTTP to use the HTTPS. But also, in the future, one day perhaps, we will be able to use Web 3.0. This is not yet implemented. It is not yet finalized, but it will be permit. It will permit decentralized and decentralization and user data autonomy. Means that if you use Web 3.0, you will be the only one who control your own data. The data will not be put in a server I don't know, in Google or Facebook, etc. No, they will be on a database, on a distributed or decentralized database, and you will be the only one who have the control of this data. So this is not yet finished, but let's hope that one day we can use this kind of new evolution of the web. Second, we have to use the encryption at all levels, but we have to use the most complicated encryption model, because as the encryption model is complicated, the decryption of this of your method will be also complicated, because the encryption model is complicated. So very few people will be able to decrypt it. And if you have the means, and if you can try to change the encryption model from time to time. I know it is not easy, but it is something that will help a lot. Verification of the identity. This is something that nobody speaks about. And this is a very important issue. When you are communicating with someone on the internet, you think that you are communicating with Ahmed, for example. But perhaps Ahmed on the internet is not the real Ahmed. And it is in 90% of the cases is the case. People are hiding behind the fake names. So you may have a big harm because you thought that you are communicating with something that you trust, and at the end, it's not this person that you are communicating with. So this is a very important point, a very important measure to take, verification of the identity. Next screen, please. Next upper. Use VPN, especially if you are doing business transactions. And also use a good firewall. For the record, most of the ISPs have firewall, so you are more or less protected. But please be sure that you have a firewall on your network. There are software firewalls and hardware firewalls. You can use both. You can use any of them. And the last point, which is also very important, change of behavior as informed internet user. You can use all the tools that I just spoke about, all the technical tools, and all the legal tools that Muhammad will speak about later, and you will not be protected because you are behaving on the internet as most of the young people now are behaving. They are sharing their life on the internet. They are exhibiting their life, exhibiting everything, every intimate. So, of course, there are. You have to be sure that everything you put on the internet, there is someone who can get it and use it against your interest. So there is no need to exhibit our life on the internet. There is no need to put sensitive information, sensitive data about us on the internet. We have to know that the use of internet can be very harmful for us if we don't know how to use it. Next, please. As a conclusion, I would say that absolute trust doesn't exist. We can only reach a reasonable one. And for a trusted internet or trustworthy internet, we need more global governance to protect the vital functions of the internet. And we need also to establish communally recognized standards for regulating the cyberspace, using more severe punishment against illegitimate use of the user's data, and more importantly, against any type of surveillance. Next, please. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Tijani, for the informative presentation. And let me take the one phrase you mentioned at the conclusion: absolute trust doesn't exist in internet. And this is take me to a scary phrase as well. AI, by using your data, they can make you behave as you would never behave. And they can make you say what you have never said. This is a little bit scary phrase, and let me take it to our dear speaker, Mr. Muhammad Farahat, who will talk the legal aspects. Please introduce yourself at the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed. Good evening. This is Muhammad Farhat, I'm Egyptian lawyer and also a member of AfIGF. From the legal perspective, and when we come to what is the tools we can use to make sure that using internet is trusted, I think we need to start by defining what we are meaning by trusted internet. So we have to define that trust. What is the concept referred to? So that trusted internet is referred to the using internet should be secure and reliable and privacy respecting environment. So this is what is trusted internet mean. It should be secure. And when you start using the internet, so it should be secure, and the user should know in advance that this site or this internet is secured. And also you have to have a confidence in using the internet. And you in advance know that, and you are confident that your data or any information you share online, it's secured or it will not subject to any breach. And also you have to know in advance that using internet will not breach your privacy. This is one of the main challenge now, especially as Mr. Ahmed mentioned in his introduction about using AI now. The using AI or developing or deploying AI system now is very challenging topic, especially when we come to speak about the privacy and how the AI can make internet or using internet is not trusted. What is the tools? From the perspective, from the legal and regulatory perspective, what is the tools or legal tools that could make sure the internet is trusted? The tools include laws and regulation, standards, and enforcement mechanism. This is the main tools from the legal perspective. If we would like to have a secured or trusted internet, so we have to develop some specific laws and regulation that not control but governing the using AI and put some principles and restriction in using AI, not using AI, but to some safeguards or principles of using AI, using the internet. I'm sorry. So and these tools should be designed to protect users' rights and should be ensure cybersecurity and should be foster the digital trust and combat other cyber crimes. Because now when we're using the internet, it's not just to access to internet. This is not the problem now. Regardless the question of connectivity or to access, but now we speak about these people who already have access to internet. So you have to or there are other with development, the rapid development of technology, there is a new threats has appeared like 1 year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we face the cyber crimes or computer crimes using internet. But now we moved to another technology is AI. This is another challenge. So now from the legal perspective, I can divide it the legal tools between the traditional legal tools, which mean when I speak about the data protection laws, or when I come to speak about cyber crime laws or intellectual property laws, these are tools, these are legal tools that make sure or ensure that the using internet is maybe trusted. But now we face another issue, which as I mentioned about using AI and emerging technology. So this laws is not, I can describe it as not traditional laws, because until now we don't have any regulation for AI, at least in Africa, on national level or in regional level. And even if the only laws now, and only AI law now in all the world is EU law, and this is not effective. And they like still in the stage to assess the effectiveness of this law, and there is some problem about the implementation of EU law, even if it's the only one, the only law now in the world. So this the big tool. The most important component in the tools to make sure to ensure that the using internet is trusted, not only to have these tools, like as I mentioned, some specific laws or list of laws like cybercrime laws, data protection, intellectual property, but also we need to ensure that this law is effective, and it's in the issue, there's a question of implementation. We have to assess also the implementation. Another component about the tools that could make using internet is trusted, we have to develop or to adopt some mechanisms to enforcement mechanisms that like ensure that these laws are implemented on the ground. This mechanisms could be any authority, independent authority, should be independent authority, and this authority should have the power to receive the complaint from the users if you face any problem or they subject to any attack or their rights has breached, if whether from the individuals or from the government entity or other private sectors. So I think the existence of this authority, independent authority, is very important, because in different countries we have a lot of laws, but we don't have these mechanisms, or we don't have independent authority that responsible for protect these persons, or to follow up or to assess the what is approach, what if the internet is trusted or not, or something like that. So we need the laws, the tools, in conclusion from our interventions, that is not only laws, because as I mentioned, different countries have the laws, but it's the most important to have also the enforcement mechanisms, as I mentioned, that like the independent authority. And one of the specific or more important condition for this authority should be independent, not follow to any governmental entity. Thank you.
Mr. Farhat, and I think regulating and legal aspects will be very effective to push everyone is involved in the internet and AI to respect the right of the end users, but it will not be the only factor. I think the awareness of what if I'm attacked, where to go, what should I do? It is one of the most aspects that people need to know very well. Once I have been attacked, what should I do immediately, and how the regulation and law will help me to get my right back.
Okay.
Beside the legal aspect, I think we cannot do anything or achieve any enhancement in this important topic without reflecting the ethical aspects. Today we have Mrs. Mary. She will talk with us about the ethical aspects. And before she starts, I'm honored to tell you again, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Trust the internet.
To some degree, yes. To some degree, I do. Yes.
We're not many, we're just going to this. Let's have a conversation. Yeah, you do. Through and through, you do. There's no aspect that you are not trusting.
There's entropy in physics.
For your data, I think your data moves from one country to the other, from one system to the other. You trust that your data will still be intact.
No.
Okay, that's a good one. Trust the internet.
Just to some aspect.
It's still to some aspects. Please tell me the aspect you don't.
No, I don't trust the internet of all, because when the data being transferred from one device to the other, there are a lot of aspects in between here that I'm sure my data may be stolen in time.
Okay. Thank you. Have you requested information from your WhatsApp?
Reposted in terms of.
Yeah, you receive the news. There's a news broadcast, and there's somebody that have posted something to your WhatsApp. Do you just click and send? Do you check whether it's true or not, whether it's correct?
Yes, I have to verify the information before forwarding.
Okay, you used to verify.
Yes.
So
and it also depends where the information is from, the source.
Okay, well,
so I there's some certain sources I trust, the others I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. At least you do verify. But there's still much to share. There's some information. There's a fire on the streets, and you want to tell everybody about the fire, and you can do it is, but you don't see the fire, right? Okay, so what will we do?
I think
Somebody is saying there's fire on the mountain, there's fire on the street, and
but
you want to tell your friends. You will just say it, isn't it?
definitely, yeah, you're going to post it, and then let's say if you find there was no fire,
Yes.
sometimes people do apologize, others just ignore, and maybe they say, it never happened. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Do you trust the government? That government sometimes they want to show that they are not the cause of the problem, that internet is disrupted, and they use that excuse to maybe it's them that disrupted the internet. Have you experienced that? Do you think government can disrupt the internet and hide under the some other force majeure?
Yes, exactly. I trust sometimes government can block internet because of situation in the country, depending on the situation.
But they will tell you that maybe there's disruption some other place.
Yeah, but
Exams.
exactly, it's true. Yeah.
Okay, so talk about the ethical side of resilience in internet, or trust of the internet. We are part of it. I am part of it. All of us seated here and those online, we are part of it. We're represented. So we are the ones that will make sure that internet is trusted. Okay, so we talk about ethical side of the internet. What will come to mind?
So on the ethical side, I think it's just an understanding of the internet being supportive of the rights of the users and anybody that just has an interaction with the internet. I think that's the ethical side of the internet I could think of.
So we are concerned about our culture. We are concerned about our languages. We are concerned about our private data. We are also concerned about our privacy, right? So when we talk about ethical side of the internet, how can we trust in ethical ways of trusting the internet? We are the users. I think the users in particular are the ones that are concern about our culture, our language, our norms, and not be, to post what we don't know. Sometimes doubt the government whether they are sincere when they disrupt the internet. Okay, so and when you think that I'm too exposed, 2 weeks ago, it was good that was asking me, do I need the photos I taken 10 years ago, right? So don't want to expose myself by saying, okay, they will tell me that it's only me that will see it. Internet doesn't forget. Might be they might tell me it's only me that will see it. So it is my own responsibility to make sure that I don't fall into such. And when we have information that we are to share, the information we should do, somebody told us a little bit of verifying whether it's right or wrong before we start sharing. So there are several aspects of the ethical issues in the internet, trusting of the resilience and the trust we have on the internet. Most times we don't help, we the users, we just have to help. We are interested in making sure that AI, look at AI, they can just take my picture and start talking. When Donald Trump was elected, there was this thing that was going on in the internet that is saying that is going to ban every Nigerian from entering the doors. You know what? They took his picture and he was saying that the picture started speaking. So practically, he shouldn't have said that. Morally, he shouldn't have said that. And but we don't verify whether it's right or wrong. We swallow it and then we repost. There was the issue of visas by the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria. So and people did not verify. Oh, the news went over the banned Dropbox in Nigeria, and it went viral. So there are so many things where there are so many ways we, as the users, should also take part in making sure that the internet is trusted. Verify what we say, protect our culture, protect our language, protect our norms. It's not just anything we see on the internet is right. There was a post about what the women use in extension, that it causes cancer. It has gone viral. And I had to post it to my children and my grandchildren. I said, it was only one of my children that said, Mommy, these things, even if you say, they will interpret it to be another thing. Everything is cancerous. So there are things we need to verify and then. So in order for people to trust the internet, what we post, and those that made that business people on the internet, they have to, their own accountable, they have to be held accountable, because sometimes they just post those things to generate traffic to their to themselves, and so many things. So I think they get a reward when they get so many things. So I think our audience have contributed to our having the ethical side of the internet. Government must be trusted, our culture must be respected, our norms, we should not just post anything, we should be part of those that advocate. So since we are here, we are all advocates, so we have to advocate for ethical use of the internet. AI is the worst aspect of it. Okay, the ethical use of AI, how does it affect us? We should be part of it. We should come up with self-regulation. He has talked about regulation. Will self-regulation work? Do we resist it? Do we fear it? Do we see the positive side of it? Because you can learn from it. Some of us are already part of the AI development, but on the other side, we should look at what the norms, our culture, our language in particular, and also what the other person that is going to consume will think about what we are posting. I think I will stop there if there are other questions.
Thank you so much, Mom Mary. And as mentioned, maybe in real life, we can hurt each other physically by talking, by word. Guess what? In the virtual life, word can hurt as well. Being sarcastic from anyone, his culture, his beliefs, his looking, whatever. We are doing something that we thought people we don't know, they are so far. Maybe I will repost something with a sarcastic comment. That's hurt as well. And we are talking about respect. It is goes both way. When we're talking about trust, it goes both way. I need to check what I'm posting or reposting. Okay. And if I have doubts, let me out of this game. Let me out because people are following me. And even if you conclude that it is wrong, it's misinformation, disinformation, whatever, maybe you will repost a correction, but the thousand, the million who followed you and reposted, they will not know this correction. So don't be a part of this process, this untrusted process. Now the floor is yours. Okay, please open your hearts and talk from your heart. This topic is related to each one uses the internet. If you have any comments, if you have any ideas, if you have any questions, please feel free. 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes to discuss together. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Chidu from the Tanzania Telecommunications Corporation. From the first presentation from, I think if I'm not mistaken, Small Tijan, Benjamin.
Yes.
Yeah, he was trying to explain that the internet, we don't trust the internet, why we don't trust, maybe how can we make it trust, something like that. But coming to the that I have come across, because of course I'm using internet. Most of the time I'm using internet. Without internet, it's like I'm out of something that if I miss internet, it's something like I miss something in my life. Every time when I'm at work, when I'm at home, I need internet all the time. I have seen what is the most authentication issues. For example, I have been come across some authentications that the factor authentications that if I need to access something, instead of taking maybe my laptop directly going to a certain web page, it will give maybe the authentication notification to my phone. At least now I can understand that because I authorized the website to communicate directly through my phone. Maybe I see that okay, now at least I'm talking to the right website. The issue of taking data and being stored to a server which is managed by someone else, to that I cannot trust because someone may have my data because they have it. We don't have these data centers. I think if we need this privacy of the data, at least because that one is going globally. If we had the data centers with the local data centers that we can store our data, at least we may find that okay, at least because it is within our local areas, maybe at least you may have maybe someone much at the globe. So in the case of yes, we cannot trust the internet. We need to authenticate as much as we can. Make sure that at least our data are being protected, because moving the data from one to the other this called the man in the middle attacks because people are there, they're waiting for information. There is some phishing mails and whatever. There is still data they can try in different aspects. That is where the trust. That's where we don't be. We are not trusting the internet. So the authentication. Many authentication stages is the best way maybe to protect our data from other people who can manipulate our data. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Any other feedbacks or comments? Okay, back to you, Mr. Tijani. Mr. Tijani.
Ahmed, I am sorry, but I didn't hear most of the speech of the interviewing because I think there is a problem of. Can you please summarize the question? Can you summarize the question?
It was a comment, but if you can give us a final remarks in the policy aspects. Right?
Sufficient education at all points. Okay, so that we could have trust in taking our data. We know who is taking our data. The other thing you said is that if we have our data center within us, instead of having it outside our sovereignty, is that right? Am I quoting you right? Outside our sovereignty, then that will provide some level of trust on our internet. This is the function of the data center that makes it trustworthy, or that factor authentication at all points where this data pass through that will make it more trustworthy. Did I understand that?
Yes. What I understood is that our participants asked me to have final comments on how to use safely the internet, isn't it? Is this the question? Is this what he wanted me to say? I think.
Let me give the floor back to our participants.
Thank you, Mr. Tijan. The issue was I was trying to comment on the internet be trusted, that maybe the authentication levels can assist us to trust that maybe I'm assessing something. Instead of going to what I need, maybe it will give me a notification. When maybe I need to log into a certain web page, I need to put my username, my password, and after that level, because the password can be taken in the internet, that by the username and the password is linked to my, for example, my mobile phone. Using my laptop, then I authentication my mobile phone to make sure that at least now I am communicating with the. That is what I was trying to comment on that one, that instead of going to using the username and the passwords to the encryption levels, at least to add another authentication level to make sure that at least I'm communicating to the right thing there.
Thank you so much. Yes, I think double authentication levels of security is better now.
For the security, yes. Somebody's raising point.
Yes, please.
I think we should be rounding up. Yeah. Almost done.
I'm Tito. I have a suggestion. Just like the internet is good, but we need to share a peer information, that distributing information which you are not sure about is criminal. Although this statement sometimes is thought that it is policing off use of internet. So we have to leverage the two things, that distributing
any content which you are not sure about is criminal. Now that goes to the laws. Again, people want independence, and so we have to leverage the two things. But sharing that information, like distributing anything, any content which you are not sure about, it is criminal. And at some point, yes, it should be criminalized. Now, as internet society, as internet user people, do we agree on that one? I think that's my take. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think this is very important, Muhammad, right? And I was asking about it. If we are talking about misinformation or disinformation, any fake news, okay? I think by logic, the one who did something like that is under law. He's doing something illegal. What about a user who reposts or reshare this information? Is it illegal? Because all users might make this mistake by no intention.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's this very tricky question because now I would like to hold some person accountable for to commit a crime, like for example, as I mentioned that, for example, if I like post fake news and you come, you trust Muhammad Farhat, you don't trust in the news, and you repost it and you repost it. So who of us will be accountable for this? Me and you, or both of us? Legally, if you have to come to, okay, this post is by Muhammad Farhat, but also according to the law, regardless the law is good or not, according to the law, you are still responsible because you have to make sure that what you reposted. You cannot say that Muhammad Farhat or any person who shared any information and you reshared this information. You have still responsible for that. But the problem is not on who is posting the news, fake news, for example, or who is responsible for repost. But I think the most important thing is we have to develop some criteria to define what is fake news. Not all the news is fake. Criticize like some specific situation or some action from government is not fake news. But actually, in the facts, most of countries' government held some person accountable of committing fake news. Just if you critique some action from the government, they consider it as fake news. So I think to develop criteria to define exactly what is the fake news means exactly. If you speak about this issue without information, and also this need to associate with to adopt the sharing information laws, because the access to information law is also lack of this information, make anyone to try to get the information from anywhere. But if the country, the government allows the citizen to get the real information, I think in this time, the person or the citizen cannot argue that I don't know or I share the fake news because you have a door to get the reliable and accurate information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farhat. And one thing I forgot before giving the final remarks from to Ms. Mary, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Ahmed Farag, chair of the North African IGF and African MAG member, African IGF MAG member. And I forgot to tell you that at the beginning. Mrs. Mary, please, your final remarks.
Okay, I think most people know me here. I coordinate the West Africa Internet Governance Forum and I'm Mama Internet or Grandma Internet. That's how they refer to me. But the truth is that the ethical side of the internet, trusting the internet, lies with you and me, the business people, the technical community, the government itself, and all of us. We do the advocacy, tell others on how to use the internet. Don't just post anything. Because when I discover that it's a fake news, next time I will not even try it. And, there are some that are still thinking that internet is useless. We shouldn't, it's evil. No, not even useless, it's evil. So you will make it good, not evil, as the ethical side of the trusting of the internet. Let's be part of the advocacy. Let us be part of those that would align with what the good that internet brings. Thank you. That's my last comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Mary. Mr. Tijani, any final remarks from your side?
Yes, thank you very much, Ahmed. And one thing that I wanted to say, the same microphone used by two persons give different results. That means that people are not speaking in the microphone. That's why I didn't understand what was said. Anyway, as final remarks, I would say that there is no absolute trust. There is no absolute protection. We have only to make our best to be secure. And this, first, we have to have the right behavior when we are using the internet. It is not a matter of tools, a matter of technology, a matter of legal laws, etc. It is a matter of behavior before anything. If you know what you put on the internet, you are sure that you will not have a big harm. If you put everything on the internet, even if you have all the tools of protection, you will be harmed. So this is very important. And lastly, also we need an international cooperation. You know that so far there is no artificial intelligence regulation or any convention about it. Even people who were against any regulation before, now they are running behind the regulation of AI, because everyone will suffer from it. Everyone will suffer from it, and it is very dangerous. Of course, the AI will give us a lot of good tools. You know, we can have tools that make you speak in any language you want, and understand any language, anyone speaking other languages, because the artificial intelligence is very powerful in this matter. So it is also a good thing for us, but we have to be careful. We have to be sure that we are not harmed because of this new technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tijani. And let's take today's insight forward to continue working toward an internet that's not only open and innovative, but also safe and rights respecting for all of us. Thank you again, Mr. Tijani. Thank you, Madam Mary. Thank you, Mr. Farhat. And thanks to Mr. Bram, our online moderator, and our reporter, Mrs. Fatou Sar. And thank you, our participants online and inside. It was great to meeting you today, and looking forward to continue our discussion during today and tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello. Testing, testing.
Thank you very much for all of us who are joining our session. Would like to apologize for any delay that has happened. As you know, when good things happen, they take a lot of time. Our session is titled Empowering You-Led Small Medium Enterprises in Digital Economy, Policies for Inclusion and Growth. My name is Msabila Karsan. I'll be your moderator. I'm joined here by my colleagues, which in a few minutes they'll be introducing themselves. Let me start by asking you a simple question. We all know a young person who has wanted to start a business, because what does it really mean to be an entrepreneur, especially now at the day and age of the fourth industrial revolution? It means that you need to be highly adapted to understand the circumstantial resources, the capital and the goods for you to partake in these times, because evolution has happened, but evolution happens to the human creature, because the human creature is the participant in business. As we are youth today, youth from Africa, emerging in a new mechanism with our title, Empowering the Digital Future, we need to understand what does it really mean to empower. I am hosting this session on behalf of Ida from Ghana, who in her element wanted to share the role of risk-taking when it comes to digital services and digital goods, because now we live in a place where we have digital assets. So before I take so much of my time, I would like our panelists here to introduce themselves in 3 minutes, and then we'll pivot to just a simple discussion, because we all are users of the internet and we all partake in business. So please, ma'am, if you might begin.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for that. My names are Zoe Koyanda. I come wearing many hats, so I'll try as much as possible to just talk about what's applicable in the room. But I'm co-founder for Grow Quarter Zambia, and this is a social enterprise that's basically centered our interest around boosting the participation of females in technology. And we do this through capacity building and just the promotion of digital skills in the ecosystem of technology. I'm also founder of Zoella. This is a business, and we generally connect young entrepreneurs to business opportunities. This may be new entrants in business, or existing entrepreneurs that are just looking to expand and explore their business opportunities beyond where they're at. So for a bit of background, I'm an IT professional and consultant with 7+ years of experience providing technical support and consulting in technology and business as well. Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Rebecca Nanono. I'm the founder of SheTechTiv Uganda, a local grassroots nonprofit organization in Uganda focusing on creating a number of digital solutions for empowerment of women and girls. I'm a digital entrepreneur, and I've done quite a number of digital initiatives and businesses around the digital economy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Titus Matasa, and I'm a portfolio manager and machine learning engineer at Magnum Holding Company. What our company does is we mostly deal with building of infrastructure that will allow automating of tender processes through government and private sectors, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's a good introduction. I see we have a diverse panel here. Portfolio managers who are in the finance sector. We have capacity building in terms of digital literacy, and we have people who wear different hats. Begin with you, Zoe. First, give us your journey as an entrepreneur in the IT space.
Okay, thanks for that question. So I think my journey draws back to around 15 years ago. So I just started with a spark of interest in technology. I'm one person who's always been fascinated about creation. And from exploration, I stumbled upon technology as a tool that is used to actually create. And so that is what sparked my knowledge, my interest. And from that, I went on to self-learning. So I was usually on the internet looking for resources that would help me expand my knowledge in technology. And this was when I was actually like 10 to 12 years old, around that age. But fast forward, I came on to pursue my bachelor's degree in information technology, which broadened my understanding in the tech space. And I was doing that side by side with my job. And with that, I then broadened my capacity to see how I could use the skills that I had acquired to make money. So that is where my entrepreneur journey started in technology. And from this, I basically started with providing consulting services. So this is, I realized the gap in the corporate corporate space, where we had people in the workforce who did not have capacity in handling certain roles or certain roles in their jobs. So for me, I took it up to begin training women in how to use basic computing skills in their jobs, and I was paid for that. And beyond that, I got to discover more broader aspects of technology, which were software development. And I went on to start learning how to develop software and websites, which I began to provide as a service. And yeah, so from then and now, I do software development, product development, and just generally consulting for digital innovations in different spaces across sectors. So that is what I am using. That is how I'm using technology currently in my entrepreneurial journey. And then on the side, I'm also developing an e-commerce platform. So like I mentioned, I gave my two introductions, the two hats that I come with on this stage. And on the other side, I run a retail business. And so with that, I've also incorporated an aspect of technology to be able to enhance or just digitize the process of how we serve our customers. And from that, we're also providing a platform as a service, which is e-commerce. So that is generally how my entrepreneurial journey has been in the tech ecosystem.
That is quite interesting, and that is the combination that needs to be an entrepreneur, developing that sense of a vision that can gain you an oversight in taking these opportunities. And I'd like to pivot to you, Mr. Titus. You've heard what Zoe has said, and you are already in the machine learning business building infrastructure. Today, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. When we speak about machine learning, it's part of an AI. AI is part of the fourth industrial revolution stack. I think, first of all, our systems are designed to help a new entrepreneur in these frontier technologies, and where's the value in that?
Well, the current rate of engagement, systems are really adaptable to how the future of technology is advancing, and what is needed, especially with the youth-led SMEs, small companies initiatives, because most of them lack significant areas such as finance, regulatory frameworks, as well as just education mostly, I would say. So those are the key areas that we need to look into to support SMEs to develop and their efficacy, their interactions with the fourth industrial revolution. I believe AI is a very important aspect of the current era of the internet, and I believe the more that we can impact small businesses, it are much easier to gather significant input towards the whole economy as a whole, the African countries, and myself being a champion to achieve that.
Thank you very much. And it shows now we can pivot to the thing, the real skills. Because as an entrepreneur and entrepreneurs here, to all the young lady from Dar es Salaam doing business in WhatsApp, or to the man in Mkomazi who's using a big platform in e-commerce, but also to all the coders who are helping to build these infrastructures. It shows that there are different versions and there are different stacks of technology for each of us to partake. Literacy is very important because literacy is what creates utility of everything. If you're able to understand, you have and aware and opening awareness that can help you create everything in the internet protocol, because the internet itself is created as a stack of technologies. The first layer is the application layer. We do have the data link layer. We do have the networking layer and the service layer, or the application layer, where most of us are based. These are things that need a lot of literacy. So I'd like to pivot to you, my sister, because you are in the field with SheTech. First of all, tell us the story of SheTech. And then tell us, why is literacy quite an important aspect for young people to partake in digital opportunities?
Thank you. So I was actually thinking about how SheTech started when you asked my colleague over here about her story and why she's doing what she's doing. So in 2018, I was still doing my undergraduate in information systems. That's when I first experienced like a divide in how women are paid less than men in IT. I was just doing an internship, and that really sparked off my idea for SheTech. And I also had this strong belief in technology to create like a better world for women. For example, through employment. What was the second question?
Value.
Oh, the value of literacy for young people. So I'll still go back to 2018. 2018 was such a special year for me because that's when I discovered myself. That's when I became a change maker. That's when I joined a lot of youth networks. So 2018 we had finished our exams at university, and I was just sitting at our college. I was using the free internet. That shows you how like having public internet or public digital infrastructure is so essential for being like an equalizer of opportunities. So I was there, and then that's when I landed on an opportunity that changed my life forever. So the algorithm it's magic, and it realized I love like working on things involving women's empowerment. So I was there on my browser. I saw an advert for a training for people who are passionate about empowerment or equality. So I get into that application, I apply, I submit my application, and then I joined a certain famous global network. It's so surprising how just access to the internet was able to make me get into a global network of people who are using technology to create change in their communities. So I get into that program. It was a 6-month physical training in Kampala. And I get to learn about how to create change in our communities, for example, through frameworks like the Sustainable Development Goals. And since the focus of that organization was using digital technology, that really blended with my interests. And 2018, I started making my idea better for SheTech. And 2 years later, in 2020, that's when SheTech was finally registered as a non-profit organization. So back to the question of literacy is important. First of all, from that story I've told you, you can just see how being able to access the internet, being able to use the internet to find opportunities that align well with your values can be a life changer for you, not only for you, but also for your community, because I've been able to do a lot of projects through various partners under SheTech Uganda to even empower more women. So digital literacy is so essential for helping women have options in their lives, because it's through those options that their lives can be changed. For example, if one is literate with digital skills, they can be able to teach themselves and have access to lifelong opportunities in case maybe they dropped out of say secondary school or a tertiary kind of education that can improve their lives in terms of helping them earn a living. Another importance of digital literacy is in terms of the whole economy. So a country where women or youth or other sidelined communities have access to digital literacy can be able to develop is that divide or even that majority of the population doesn't have access to digital skills or digital literacy. That's my submission.
That's quite a touching point to have an impact story on how somebody got connected in the internet and found their way as an entrepreneur, and now using elements of trading, but also using elements of self-determination to help the next generation of young people. A business does not have borders. It's countries or people who make these borders, the challenges of penetration. There's so many barriers of entry that young people face today when it comes to participating in the digital economy. Rather, the statistics say since 2016 to 2021, there has been almost 115% increase in connectivity in our continent of Africa. And it shows that by 2030, we might bring a third of the people online. That almost a 190 billion addition to our economy. But these are not good numbers, because now we see in the Western frontiers, they have 500 billion based AI factories, a new entrepreneurship. So a new sort of creation of value that has shifted in terms of the economy, because we used to have a normal physical exchange economy, but the data economy has presented first new ways of creating value, but also barriers of entry for those of us who still have to adapt. I will tell you a little bit of a story about me and my colleague here. In 2020, we were creating a fintech financial system. I will call it Cash App, which was to be using blockchain-based technologies to help interoperability of sending money easily with low fees and security, because this is what one needs. We did have the great idea, the great skill sets that we had learned. We did have the drive. But when it came to understanding the regulation or the regulatory part of it, that is when we started gaining the hurdles, because we were speaking two different things. And as we know now, we do have a lot of outdated policies and regulations that bar people from entry. As the famous quote by Immanuel Kant goes, politics without policy is empty, and policy without politics is blind in itself. And we were blind in our own nature that the politics did not understand. But we are a product of the Tanzanian system. So regulation became an error. But 5 years later, we do have blockchain government systems in Zanzibar under the national strategy of Tanzania. They're boosting to have 1 million coding jobs for the youth, which is 35%. 76% are under the age of 35 in this country. But also under the next strategy, they're bringing last mile connectivity to the people. I've shared these regulatory challenges when it comes to government, and I would like Zoe for you to tell me, what do you think are some barriers of entry you see in terms of regulation when you are starting your journey, and the frameworks that exist in the continent? What are the barriers of entry that are not making young people thrive compared to other parts of the world?
Okay, I'll just try to rephrase your question to make sure I understood it correctly. So are these barriers to entry when getting into the, let me say,
digital engineer ecosystem?
Okay. Well, I would like to share my own perspective, but I feel it takes so much time because it's mixed with emotion.
We like those stories.
So I'll make it very general. And talking of regulation, I think I'll look at it in two ways. There's regulation on just the entrepreneur side, because we're talking about digital economy. On the digital side, there's the aspect of technology that is that we have to speak into. And on the economy side, there's an aspect of money and entrepreneurship as a whole. So from personal experience, these are two different faces that we have to deal with. And if I talk about regulation on the technological side, I would say at least the barriers haven't been so much. At least, again, I'm going back to personal experience because technology has been evolving very fast. And it's only recently that there's been regulation that is sort of pulling back the participation of young people who are trying to get into the digital economy. So right now, I think there's a requirement to have if you need to practice, you need to be registered under the ICT Association of Zambia. And there's been so much pushback from young entrepreneurs because it's something that they either cannot afford or they feel it's not a necessity because there is no regulation that really protects them in that space, with the mindset that because technology is very dynamic, regulations are likely going to change constantly. And so rather than being a barrier, it's sort of acting as, let me say, a blocker for them to actually go with the stance of regulation. But on the entrepreneur side, well, the barriers could go as, I would say, as far as the basic requirements that a young entrepreneur would need before they actually establish as either a legal business or a legal entity. So I think before in the digital ecosystem, most people are self-taught. They feel there is nothing that should really hold them back as getting into their journey of being, let me say, thriving software engineers, thriving developers, or just people who are taking their space in the technology ecosystem. So, so just to take a few steps back, it's only now that most people are open to the it's only now that people are welcoming the idea of going with regulation because it's so strict that if you don't actually fall under the ICT Association of Zambia to practice or do everything that you need to do, then you do not qualify. So it's just that struggle that is currently ongoing. At least, again, that's from experience where I'm coming from. And I've seen quite a number of things happening across as well, but I think I would better answer it in the lines of the regulation in the Zambia ecosystem, but also looking forward to seeing how that plays out. And possibly it'll be nice to also hear a perspective briefly from what is currently going on either here in Tanzania or any other country, possibly Uganda, just to have, just to provide a broader perspective as well to the listeners or everybody or anybody that has tuned in to the conversation.
Okay, so I think a major challenge is having different entities, either government or non-government, working in silos. For example, you find the Ministry of ICT doesn't really coordinate well with the ministry that's in charge of like entrepreneurship or innovation. And we might find those are really different government entities handling that. So sometimes their work is not very coordinated. And also people working, okay, this is my own personal opinion, people who tend to work in government-owned entities that are supposed to be serving like entrepreneurs, innovators, don't tend to have that lived experience of being entrepreneurs, so they really can't relate, or they are not the best people to guide policymakers, for example, to create change. So we have seen some independent bodies coming up, and also recently there have been a lot of in terms of reforming the existing, like a set of existing laws around innovation to make it easy for young innovators, young entrepreneurs to succeed in the startup ecosystem. For example, laws on affordable internet, laws on taxes that young entrepreneurs can pay, or taxes on various aspects of running businesses or even non-profit initiatives? Thank you.
Just to add some context for the Tanzanian experience, because he has mentioned that there is some incompetency that lies with the creators in government, but there is a big demographic change that's happening and the demographic dividend that we are seeing come through. In Tanzania, we have something called the government GEPG. It's a government gateway system for payment. It's under the ministry, which means any financial decision that you make or that you can do with the government in terms of paying for services and goods, there's a percentage that goes to the government. And we have a mixed sort of economy, which means it's directly feeding into the profit of each and every Tanzania. GPG was created by a normal Tanzanian through the initiative known as eGov. There's a special innovation commission in Dodoma known as eGov that creates and supports all of entrepreneurship, all those innovators. And through that collaboration between an end user as well as the government, we had GEPG. And GEPG today has created an entire shift in an ecosystem that has created demographic dividends to the normal Tanzanian. Now paying for some services for the government is easy. Your passports, your fines, your bills, they're quite easy, and you still gain the benefits. So I see that through the multi-stakeholder approach that we are members of, especially in the internet governance ecosystem, these things can happen because we see examples of governments in Tanzania working with really normal people and entrepreneurs in shifting that aspect. But we still have a great barrier of entry to that nature. And to my colleague on my left here, Mr. Titus, let us speak about the role of cross-border flow. Because in the end, we are still countries with borders, and goods and services are really controlled under this nature. In the world we live in today, there are different taxes and tariffs, but they also apply online in digital trade. AfCTA, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, there's a policy supporting digital trade by removing these barriers of entry, such as fines and tariffs. What do you think countries and us as citizens should do to promote cross-border flow of ideas, but also cross-border flow that will support digital trade?
I think that's a very interesting point there. We talk about cross-border flow of goods and services, and so I would like to term it as so supply chain and logistics. So if we have supply chain and logistics in we also have supply chain and logistics in the form of digital goods and services. And I think the way as in the regions is very huge. I'll start with the government should approach this. As you said, with the AfCTA, was passed, I think, 2-3 years ago. It was a very good initiative. And the problem is barriers create an accessible internet particular ecosystem, say, for instance, in East Africa or West Africa, or the whole of Africa. It's very important because it's going to increase the amount of participation, increase the amount of revenue, increase in terms of creativity and innovation through cross-border collaborations and things like that. Because you come to see that, particularly, we're very included as Africans, even the level of collaborations, relationships between Africans themselves is very low. Supply chain and logistics in terms of digital goods will be very empowering because we also get taxes from them and strengthen the nations that are participating. But I think it's a very good initiative and it should be done between entrepreneurs, which also in most cases are the good. Seated different collaborations with different entrepreneurs in different countries across the African continent. So
Just to add on that, that's why chose machine learning as a field, because you're a young person from tech field, and I mentioned specifically cross-border because without cross-border flow of information and value, most of us would not understand what it means to be connected with these algorithms and artificial intelligence systems. So please first tell us the story of Magnum and machine learning.
Okay, so Magnum gives on 2019. Just finished uni, I decided to become a full-time entrepreneur. So launched a new company in Tanzania. So the company was emerging in trade. From then, we found other entities. Seems that it's an industry that's been faced with constant changes, both in terms of technology, in terms of ethics, in terms of sort of the economic action. So what is that one thing that we can see is that the use of paper as a means of executions of private company executions is very obsolete. So once what we came to realize is that it's easier you can just tender applications from the beginning. Sourcing the tenders themselves to do from different countries and actually is a very to simplify the process because what it does is automate and projects that have been for years. All this documentation and all the company documents can be using the state of the lifetime of the project. So for instance, what we are is done but this year initially we're just using it as an organization to be able to access these tenders through different various websites such as List and other companies tenders. The problem is we're able to use machine learning to be able to use the time spent on we've saved on costs. We've saved on so many issues, even the training process of them is not quite as tedious as the that we were using 5 years ago. We had a team of tender experts. Even in terms of housing and selling, trying sales and I would suggest even the youth because it's very supportive because you don't need to have enough those huge projects. You always just need some access to any means to public infrastructure. And you can speaking of so that we see what I'm speaking about.
Supply chain processed through machine learning. And we have mentioned problem that you saw and how you applied the value through the technology aspects to add value. And it shows that, you know, the opportunity cost is actually breaking these barriers so you can see what comes next. Our session is called Empowering Led SMEs in the Digital Economy, Policies for Inclusion and Growth. This is not about statistics and strategies. This is about all the young people, because business is a people process. Going back to zone, for our young people here, wanting to know some practical tips and platforms that they can start to engage with today so that they can also partake in the digital trade and digital entrepreneurship. So if you could mention any examples of the platforms you have created or online tools that you have that have helped you in your journey. So our young people online and in the room can have some pragmatic recommendations.
Okay. So getting into the digital economy, and like they say, just to share experience on some of the platforms that I've either used or developed. So it comes in different aspects. So getting into a digital economy, first, it's about capacity building, building your skill and experience in finding your position in the digital ecosystem, because it's quite broad. So first, it's establishing what specific skill or what specific field you'd want to venture into to build your capacity and then begin your entrepreneurial journey after that. So personally started my capacity building from YouTube. I learned majority of my coding from YouTube. Like I mentioned in my introduction, I pursued my bachelor's degree in information technology, so I had that opportunity as well to learn. But I would appreciate the University of YouTube a lot more. Not to disrespect the university I was at, but that is where there's so many resources for learning. So coming to Grow Quota Zambia as well, I'm also about to just highlight one of the other platforms that would be really interesting to explore. As Grow Quota Zambia, we have a partnership with DataCamp. So DataCamp is an edtech platform, and it helps you build capacity in data and AI. So if you feel you want to get into the digital economy as maybe a data analyst, or you also want to build cool tools like our like my fellow panelist, then you begin by building that capacity there. So I'm open to guiding on how you go about being on DataCamp and gaining that capacity. So after you have established a skill, one other thing that you may need to learn is the finances as well, because you're getting into an economy that is very busy and fast. So after you have established your skill sets, which I call hard skills, you also need to have experience in managing finances and also your soft skills in ensuring that you're thriving in the very competitive digital economy. So I always like to say this: money goes where it feels safe. And if you want to be in the digital economy, you are jumping into that field to make money. So just exposing yourself to every resource possible that you can to better understand financing is what will actually help you marry with the skill that you get from marry the two different skills that you get after you have established what exactly in the digital ecosystem that you're going to learn to begin providing as a service, or you begin providing as a product. So on the financial side, right now, there's so many resources really. It can be human resource. It can be, again, resources online. I'll keep referring to online because that is where I've gained most of the experiences and capacity that I have right now. But personally, it's just been regular searching on managing finances. And again, I talked about it being a very competitive platform. So what will help you thrive as well is being around a community of professionals or experts who are actually doing exactly what you want to do. Right now, I think there's a culture of I want to be unique, or I'm trying to come up to get into a business space or be an entrepreneur who's doing something different. So it's okay to do something different, but you also need to understand if the market is ready for that difference that you are trying to bring into the system. So finding yourself in a community of people who are doing what you are working on can also be very helpful. So for communities as Girl Coders, okay, now this feels like I'm marketing Girl Coders, I'm so sorry. But yeah, Girl Coders Zambia is a platform as well that would expose you to a community of entrepreneurs and also I like to call them tech entrepreneurs who are in the digital economy and really thriving. So there's also other resources that you can get. There's LinkedIn, which is a very useful tool as well. You find a lot of helpful resources on LinkedIn and Facebook. If you really look at the right groups, there's also communities there that you can tap into to build your capacity and also get to understand how you maneuver through the journey as you are getting into the digital economy. Again, it's very broad, and that is why I would emphasize, of everything that I've highlighted, I would emphasize more on community, because having been in the space for over 7 years, one thing that I have learned is it's very easy to get lost. And as much as you have a goal, there's so many things that will come up because technology is very dynamic. The digital space is changing every now and then. So just being sure that you're also clear about the path that you take is very important and instrumental in establishing your success in the digital economy. So I am very big on community, even as you are starting, trying to establish, or also trying to scale. Thanks.
That there's a theory called the spruce goose theory. It says money goes where labor is, cheap labor is. That's why we see back in the day most of the technological innovations went to China, to Vietnam, but not in the other Western frontiers. In Africa now we are facing a big increased energetic labor, which means that if labor other people need to be empowered with the right skill set and mindsets to do this. I know we're almost running out of time, so I would like to welcome my panelists to share their closing remarks, beginning with you, Mr. Titus.
First of all, I have to say pleased to be here and thankful to share the same panel seat with the rest of you for the day. And I would like for us to push for more and safer internet in the future. Which is within the limits. Statements about businesses and small SMEs will have a secure and safer future as a whole. Thank you.
Okay, my final remark is that for us to create lasting change, we should not just focus on individual success at organization level, but rather we should work hand in hand with various stakeholders, especially governments, to create various favorable policies for enterprises, social innovators, to be able to bring everlasting change in our countries and communities and the world at large.
Well, my last remarks will be first appreciating the internet. I mean, we're here because of the internet, so maybe first appreciation for that. And just like we say, the tongue has got the power to build and also to destroy. We also have that power in our hands as we are being on the internet. So it's a very, the internet provides a very vast opportunity to build or to destroy. But with the conversations that we've been having here, I think most of the things that we've talked about, the digital economy, are all being powered by the internet. And for me, it's just a call to action to make sure you are also fast in this fast world. So there's so many opportunities around, and for me, I always urge people to jump on every opportunity as it comes. So I'm also very big on supporting and empowerment. So if there's anybody in the room or anybody that is listening or watching who is possibly always finds it hard to either start or take the leap to get into the digital economy or just pursue their interests or careers in technology, I'm always open to providing that support. And again, always big on action. So my call to action again is you have the power in your hands, and it just takes you as an individual to take the first step. And the first step may always be reaching out to somebody who you may need to just get advice from to be able to begin your journey. And then it's above and beyond from there. Thank you.
That's what holding hands. You have a saying in Kiswahili about entrepreneurship saying, ujasiriamali ni kushikana mikono. It translates to entrepreneurship is holding hands together so we can have linkages of value. And this is what the multi-stakeholder approach is. Everybody has to be empowered to know that we are all links of value. I give an example of a road. A road can get us home, can get us to a hospital or anywhere, but it is created for anybody and everyone to get value through it. But the structure and composition of a road is the stones, the cement, the engineering. So the business today of technology is also the hardware. It's still the cables. It's still the skill sets. It's also still the content under the context of all Africans. With that, I would like to appreciate my panelists. I would like to appreciate everybody who has joined us online and apologize for the inconveniences. But always remember, internet ni yetu sote, and if it connects us together, biashara na ujasiriamali ni kushikana mikono. Thank you very much.